So next up, we are going to talk about the crystal from Art of the Exhale. So this is, like I mentioned earlier, this is not called the Crystal V2 because the original version of the crystal, which I reviewed before, I guess they decided to make changes to it kind of last minute, even though it had technically been officially released, and they had sent some out to some reviewers and I think a couple other people. And then they made some changes to it because it was so close to the Hydra, decided to make it a 22mm device. So anyway, that's what I'm reviewing, is the new version of the crystal. I guess the official version of the crystal, whatever you want to call it. It is not called a V2, but it is the newest version. So the crystal, let me get you a link for the crystal. I don't know that they are in stock right at the moment, but they will be back in stock pretty quickly. There's the link. Art of the Exhale has been producing stuff at a very regular pace now that they're kind of rolling. And you can sign up for a list. If you notice something comes back in stock, you sign up for the list and you'll get a PM with payment and shipping or payment information pretty quickly. The turnaround on it is pretty reasonable, considering some of these devices you have to wait months and months and months for. So this is what it looks like. This is the crystal. It is a, come on. Gah! Alright, we'll try that again later. It is a 100% titanium, solid piece of titanium, the body of the device. Obviously the top cap is not included in that solid piece. Genesis style atomizer. It is 22mm. It is laser engraved. You have option to get it with a groove top cap or not. If you get it without the groove, you can get the Art of the Exhale logo on it. With the groove, there isn't enough space for that, and it's got a crystal. It says crystal engraved on it. It is 50mm in length, so it's pretty good size. It's not super tall though. 22mm diameter. It weighs about 30 grams, which is very light because it is titanium. The air hole on it is 1.2mm, which, as you guys know, is right in my wheelhouse. The mesh hole on it is 2.4 mil. It's got a polycarbonate tank. You can, if you really want a Pyrex tank, you can get them from third party. But it comes standard with a polycarbonate tank, and it comes with some extras as well. It comes with an extra tank, extra O-rings. You get mesh and wire included with it as well, 32 gauge wire, and I believe it's 400 mesh. And it also comes with that drip tip on the top. That is actually a titanium drip tip that comes with the device. And it has a 4.5 milliliter juice capacity on there. So, let me show you what it looks like. And I'm going to take off autofocus because it has not been behaving for me. So, one moment please. So, this is what it looks like. It's pretty good size, okay? Like I said, it's 22mm in diameter. I got the grooved version. Good size juice tank. Pretty squat top cap. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then the titanium drip tip on there as well. And on the other side, you can either get it with the grooves and it says crystal on it, or you can get it without the grooves with that really snazzy looking Art of the Exhale logo, which I really like the look of that logo. I probably should have gotten one with the logo rather than the groove top with the crystal engraved on it. But I do like the look of the grooves as well. So, that is what it looks like. Let's show you what it looks like under the hood. Top cap's nice and snug. It's got a pretty good sized raised addy deck with double O-ring. And I'll show you the inside of the top cap in just a moment. Very, very simple design. You have a wick hole 2.4 millimeter, like I said, with the negative screw. Now, another interesting thing about this, the opposing hole on this is actually a little bit larger, and I believe the reason why it is set up this way is so that you can put a wick in there that has a good amount of room around the outside. So one that doesn't, fill that hole right there, and set it up with a dual wick, but still have enough airflow into the tank that you get good wicking with a dual wick setup, which is kind of cool. I personally, I like, if I'm going to do a dual coil, I want to have airflow over both, but that's just my personal preference. You will get definitely an increase in flavor if you set up a dual coil on this. You'll get an increase in throat hit as well because of the no air hole over the other side. It is a wrap and trap style. As you can see, it's got the spring, the washer, and then the little nut. Those nuts are actually adjustable, so if you want to change the height of the coil, you can do that. So if you want to give yourself a little bit more room, for example, if you are going to set up a dual coil, so you need to make the you need to make the you need to do more wraps on it because you typically want to double your ohms for each coil, because if you put two 2-ohm coils on there, it'll come out to 1 ohm. For those of you that build dual coils, you know that. So yeah, it's got a lot of flexibility. It's really easy to work with. I mean, this thing took me no time at all to set up. It was super easy. Yeah, like I said, real easy setup. Nice, a lot of space to work with up there. Wicks extremely well. It's got the big air hole there, or the big wick hole. So the top cap, I don't know how well you can see inside here, but let's try to get this straight. There is actually not a lot of room in there. Like if you see between, you can see those O-ring grooves. If I tilt it to the side a little bit, look at the amount of space there is from the top of that second O-ring groove until you get to the top of the top cap. There is very little space. It has got a very small top chamber. It's very squat, which obviously is going to increase the flavor. Hold on a sec. Let's take off autofocus. So, one sec here. So let me put the top cap back on. Very snug top cap as well. The double O-ring, shaking the crap out of this. I didn't show you this with the arrow, but it's actually the same with the arrow. But we're talking about the crystal now. Sorry, I digress. The holds a lot of juice. This one will definitely get you through the whole day, unless you're a turbo chain vapor and you're going through over 4.5 milliliters of juice a day. I personally don't come close to that. I usually go through about 3 a day. Unless I'm stressed out, then sometimes I'll go over 4. But let's see, what else? The quality of the vape on this guy. So before I talk about that, let me just start off by saying, when I got this device, the first thing I thought was, wow, this is big, and it's going to be it's got a big top cap. I didn't pull the top cap off and look underneath to see just how tight it is in there at first. I looked at it, I was like, wow, that's got a big top cap. It's 22 millimeter. It's going to be a cool vape. It's not going to be as warm as I like. It's not going to have as sharp a flavor as I like. So, and then I took the top cap off. I'm like, oh, okay, there's not a ton of room in there. That's got promise. Set it up, started vaping it. Way more flavor than I expected. And I still can't figure out why, to be quite honest with you. My guess is it's because it's titanium. And the top cap on the titanium, as you vape the device, and this is the same with the Hydra, the same with the other version of the Crystal, all the Art of the Exhale titanium atomizers, the top cap heats up really fast. Not to a point where it's not like you're going to burn yourself. This isn't a negative. The top cap heats up super fast, and it actually warms the vapor, or it keeps the vapor from cooling inside the atomizer chamber. I think. I mean, when I put this side by side with another 22 millimeter device, a stainless steel setup, using it in comparison to, say, like a Senesys, for example. The newer Senesys has a much shorter top cap on it. It's got about the same amount of room inside as this device. Um, the warmth is, I mean, with the exact same setup, the warmth on the crystal is significantly more flavor, and that's really that's the only thing that I can think of, because it's not like the coils are glowing faster. I'm not getting more power to the coil. I think it's just because it's made of titanium. Because basically just because I've ruled everything else out at this point, I think. So again, um, there's no science behind this. I'm just guessing, but I think that is why the flavor and warmth of this device is where it is, which was much better than I expected. And I should know better by now. Everything that I've ever used from Art of the Exhale has been exceptional. And all for a very reasonable price. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this is $120. Which for a high-end atomizer, as all of you know, is actually a pretty reasonable price. So, anyway, let's vape it. Oh, yes, that's good. Really warm, really crisp, sharp flavor. Um, just it's like I said, you look at it and it doesn't look like it's going to be as warm and flavorful a vape as it is, but it's just fantastic. And as you can see, the vapor production is very, very good. Um, I'm biased because the air hole on this is my favorite draw, which is 1.2 millimeter. So those of you that like an airier draw, might not like the device as much. Those of you that like a tighter draw, might not like it as much. But like for me, 1.2 is like the perfect balance of vapor and flavor. You can go a little airier with like a dual coil setup, for example, but for a single coil, single wick, single air hole, 1.2 is definitely it for me. So I'm going to take another vape. Awesome. That's really, really good. Um, I mean, for a 22 millimeter atomizer, I'm talking about flavor that is on par with a Doodlebug from this device, even though it doesn't have as tight a top chamber. And like I said, I think it's because of this. I think it's because of the titanium. I think it keeps the vapor warmer, and I really, really enjoy a warm vape. It's not hot. It's not like a crazy throat hit, hot burn vape. Just warm, sharp flavor, absolutely delicious. Um, so, summary of the positives and negatives of the device. It's not, the negatives. The only negatives really are it's kind of big. It's not gargantuan, but it's pretty big. It's 50 millimeters tall without the drip tip, so it's pretty good size. It's not going to be it's not going to be something you use in your stealth vape setup. Um, that's really the only negative, though. Like I said, the flavor and the vapor production from it were surprising to me, given the size of the device. Absolutely caught me off guard. And it's not like I have it set up with a crazy setup either. It's just a single wick. I think I got it set up at like 0.9 ohms, maybe zero point 0.8. But and it vapes like a champ. It wicks extremely well. I can actually vape it vertically, even at that low an ohm. No tilting required until maybe you get down to kind of the bottom of the tank, because it does have a pretty good sized tank on it. If you don't like if you really want a Pyrex tank and you don't like polycarbonate, that's the only other negative that I can think of. Otherwise, awesome device. Huge thumbs up. Art of the Exhale once again. I mean, at this point, I feel like I could, even if I weren't doing this show, I think I would still buy everything that comes out from Art of the Exhale just because I know that it's going to be good. I've used I guess four different devices from them now, and all of them have been absolutely top notch. The Hydra is still overall my favorite Genesis style atomizer. So, and everything else has just been absolutely phenomenal too. So there you have it. That is my review of the new version of the Crystal from Art of the Exhale. I highly recommend that you get one. Also, if you're looking for a first high-end Genesis style atomizer, I definitely recommend this one because it's very good quality. It looks really nice on a 22 millimeter device, and it's really easy to set up. Very easy to set up. I had, I mean, it just, I think I had the thing set up in like maybe 2 minutes, maybe less than that, from start to finish. So, it took no effort at all. I had no issues with any kind of hotspots or anything. Just pop the wick, wrap, trap it, and it, unoxidized. Well, actually, I torched it one time just to clean it off, and that was it. So, yeah, big thumbs up. Like I said, Crystal, awesome. All right.